We're sitting in this beautiful park to talk to John Turner about how COVID-19 has affected him personally and an island perspective. So it's very nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm 23 years old, born and raised out here on the island. Couldn't be, more fortunate. Such a great place, great community. A family owned a restaurant out here for over 20 years, and just, really it's just a special place.
Mm-hmm. So now you don't live here full time, but you're here because of COVID-19, correct?
Right, so temporarily, moved back in. It's, like I said, it's a great area. We're at least able to be outside and, take advantage of the boat. Obviously, a lot of things are shut down, but yeah, so I'm living in Sarasota, but for the time being, I've been down here in Boca Grande.
So you are doing telecommuting or working through your computer now?
Right,
at
so
home?
I set up an office in the old, Scarpa's up top, yeah. And so yeah, I'm working remotely, working from home, which I've been able to do pretty much everything that I've been able to do at the office, but it's different, because I was getting into the groove of everything, and now everything's kind of on hold. So.
Do you know when you expect to go back to your regular work schedule?
They have not set a date. I'm thinking it's going to be probably closer to mid-May, maybe even June, before they start bringing us back into the office.
So how have you noticed things on the island at this time compared to what it's normally like here at this time?
It feels like years ago in the summertime, we would play this game where we'd sit in the middle of the four-way intersection and see how long until a car came by till we had to move. It feels almost like that, because it's you come into town and what should be spring break, business is booming. It's like a ghost town. You almost have to like pinch yourself, because it doesn't seem real almost.
So your family was down here for many years running PJ's restaurant, and do you keep in touch with a lot of people that still live on the island, and what have they told you about how the coronavirus has affected them?
Of course, yeah. Obviously I'm down here now, and I've been coming back prior to this, coming back down on the weekends, so still trying to stay very involved in the community. And just from firsthand looking at it, I can tell a lot of the businesses, a lot of the restaurants are really struggling, and it's taken a toll. The Temptation, Kevin improvised doing his own grocery store out here, so people, we're getting by, but it's definitely taking a toll.
Yeah, I think the businesses down here really had to adapt very quickly to a changing market and not having season like we normally have down here, and they really did have to do it very quickly to be sustainable and sustain some of their employees and sustain their business as well.
Of course.
So you have family down here, and you said you do have a grandmother.
Yes, yeah. So my grandma's 88. She lives about, a mile and a half from our house. So she comes back and forth from Ohio. She lives there 6 months out of the year, but she's very fortunate that she's down here, but she's also very active and loving to go out with her friends and go out to restaurants, and that's why she's been she hasn't left her house in about a month, or at least. So I've been going over there. I come in through the back porch, and we sit about 15 feet across from each other, and we'll talk. So at least we're able to see her, but it's definitely different. We usually enjoy playing cards together. Haven't been able to do that, but yeah, she's staying positive, but she's about ready. She's at some point she's like, I'm just ready to go back out and forget about all this, but she's come this far. So.
Right. So what would you like to see happen once they take some of the restrictions off? How do you have a feeling of how Boca Grande is going to reopen?
I think it's going to be slow, even though they lift some of those restrictions, especially with the age group out here. I think people are still going to be very cautious. I think it's going to be a while until people actually feel really confident about going out into large crowds again. But then on the other hand, I think once the restrictions are lifted, people some people are going to be ready to go back out, because it's been pretty long already.
It's been very long, and I foresee that when season comes next year, that it's really going to open in a big way, because people probably, in my opinion, may be ready to come down a little earlier because they miss so much of season now.
I agree. And a lot of people are hurting, but the people that have been able, to sustain and keep their jobs through this, I think they're going to want to, because like you said, they missed out, so they're going to want to travel, they're going to want to go out and spend money again and go out to eat. So I totally agree with that. I think next season is going to be big.
So you're a youngster in my estimation, 23. So I would like to know, what do you think people are going to learn from the coronavirus and having to self-isolate and change pretty much our normal way of living?
Right. I think it was very eye-opening to people. I think it was a big wake-up call to just kind of how vulnerable we are to these types of diseases, and just how vulnerable, like keep bringing it back to small businesses, but a lot of them are probably going to not be able to reopen. So maybe thinking more about how to be able to sustain long term if something like this were to happen again. But I think it was just a big kind of eye-opening reality check.
I would like to think that people are going to learn about what's important in their life, and that life is short, and we really do have to protect the most vulnerable at every stage of life.
Right.
Whether it's in good times and bad times, in a time like coronavirus, we have to really take care of the least of these, as they say in the Bible, and that's really important. And I really hope that that's what people get out of this, is being kinder to other people and realizing that the grocery store clerk is very important in your life. When you can't go, that grocery store clerk is very, very important.
Right.
And supporting the businesses here on Boca Grande, I think, is going to take on a new meaning for people.
Of course,
when season comes. So, have any final words you'd like to offer Boca Grande?
Well, just we'll get through this like we always do, and be safe and be well, and we'll come out on the other side like we always do. So,
John, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So tell me what's been going on with your business for the Loose Caboose.
As far as staffing goes, most of our employees have elected to self-quarantine at home. As you know, a lot of ours are, because of their age bracket, they're higher risk. And if anybody had a regular full-time job as well and they were just working weekends, they're letting the hours go to the ones that have no other income and that are trying to stay employed at this time. So we are running them on minimum staff, but it is so slow that that's not a problem, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, I haven't even had to make ice cream in probably 3 weeks just to keep everything stored up. Our menu, we've been trying to keep our regular menu going, but as we're running out of products, we're not making more, ordering more of those things in, like our crab cakes we're out of now, things like that. So we will be going to a more minimal menu. Right now we have one person for the front and 2 people in the kitchen. And of course, I'm sitting in the dining room making masks for people that don't have any.
Right, and I see you have one on. It's very cute, very cute. So how have you had to adapt your restaurant to the coronavirus? I understand you're doing takeout now, correct? That's all you're doing, is takeout.
That's absolutely all that we're doing right now. People can either order online, they can come to the front, or we do take orders over the phone as well. If people are not able to come pick things up, we have been able to do delivery when we have somebody on that can do that.
And you're just doing on-island delivery?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. And then we are offering items, if somebody doesn't want to go out to the store and they want to order produce or milk, different types of meats, they can call us and we'll order that for them as well and let them know when it's in, as well as toilet paper, paper towels, things like that.
Well, that's great that you can offer that to people. Now, can they find that on your website if they need to order those type of things, or just word of mouth that they can do that?
I posted it on our Facebook page. That's a lot easier for me to update, so I did put it on the Facebook page, and that's word of mouth is always a great way for people to find out too.
Right, absolutely. So how is your takeout business doing since you've had to go to takeout?
Every day it gets slower. You know, our goal right now is to just make enough money to keep payroll going and make the cost of food expenses. So it's definitely, it's extremely stressful right now, and sewing is helping.
Right.
I still feel like I'm doing something for the community and helping out.
Right.
So if I have to be here, I want to be productive and do something.
Right. So have you found that the local community and the residents have really been supporting your business during the coronavirus?
I think that they are trying. I know that a lot of the older people are understandably afraid to go out and interact at all. All of my staff that deal with customers, they're wearing their masks. You know, we've got our hand sanitizer out front. We're offering people the option of just giving their credit card information over the phone, so they don't have to sign or do anything that way. So it's still a learning process in some ways, you know, as the restrictions, trying to keep up on all the changes is hard.
Right.
So there's a lot of adjustments, and we're still learning. And yes, I think they are definitely trying to be here for us.
Right.
They said they can't wait for us to reopen. We're hoping we're going to be able to do that in a month or so, maybe.
Right.
I'm praying to God. So.
Right. So how has the coronavirus and the shutdown affected you personally?
Well, that's never a good thing to bring up, because it's, you know, my paycheck is usually what covers my rescue, and it's very stressful because I have all the animals to take care of. So not knowing if I'm going to have a paycheck
I'm sure is very difficult. Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
I don't have volunteers right now because everybody wants to self-isolate, which I understand. I absolutely want everybody to be safe. And I'm not the only rescue going through this. All the rescues are. I took in 4 barn kitties from Animal Welfare League because they were closing down their shelter. So they're adjusting at home right now. That's 4 more mouths to feed, but they'll, I've got the acreage for them. When they adjust, they'll be happy, and but it is really stressful right now. So I'm just, I keep trying to have faith that everything's going to be okay. But we try to be here for the community. And I know they try to be here for us, and I'm just hoping that we can all help each other out and get through this, and that it may be a different future, but a good one.
A good future. That something good will come on the other side of this, and perhaps Boca Grande, this is a transition time of such an unknown for so many businesses here that perhaps.
And there's no end in sight.
There is no end in sight, right. There is no end in sight right now. But we know that there's going to be an ending to this, or a transition which will be slow for businesses to open. But I'm hoping in Boca Grande to see, when businesses are able to open, that we have a huge celebration of we're still here. We're still here, and I think that that's going to be really something to look forward to, where people will be able to go out to dinner and walk downtown and go out to lunch and go shopping and talk to each other, and hug your neighbor and do all those things, and we're just not able to do those things. So I like to foresee that is going to be something to look forward to, and perhaps having the hope to look forward to that time coming is something we can all hold on to. For you, for your business, for your rescue, for the other businesses on the island, I know it's been very, very tough for a lot of people. And sometimes it's hard to look at someone else's hardship because you're dealing with your own. And I know that you probably feel that way, that you're going through something, but there are other people going through other things. But when it's yours, it's yours.
Well, I mean, I talk to a lot of friends,
right?
And we all have our own days where it's our turn to crack. you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes.
you have to release some of the stress, and then you're good for a few days, you know?
Right. This is definitely a learning process we did not want to be in, and no one wanted to be in. But Blanche, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the Loose Caboose and your rescue, and we look forward to you opening again and having that beautiful outside seating that we all love to come to. Thank you.
Right, thank you.